Let's go straight into it. The first step you want to do is pick something you love doing. I know it seems obvious, but it's not. You need something that you at least like to do or are looking forward to like doing. Something that motivates you a little bit, something that you love. It's one of the most important steps of all of them. If it's forced, don't bother, that's not for you. You can always find something else you want to do or learn, so don't pick something you don't like. That's the first step. And I promise you with that, your motivation will keep feeding itself because you will have enough dopamine every time you succeed or you do something to do it again and again in a loop and to keep going at it. So that's really important. And also, if you like it, you're going to be way more focused on what you are doing. And also you're going to remember much better if you're interested in your subject or in what you are learning. So that's really important. Like what you are learning. If you want to go fast, if you want to learn correctly. The second step is you need to believe you can do it. And I know it sounds obvious. Don't leave the video. I want to explain myself why it's super important. And trust me, later, I'm going to give you real applicable thing that you can do. But right now, I need to tell you about that because it's so important. And I see many people not doing that or not understanding why it's important. So I'm going to tell you why it's important. When you want to learn something, you need to believe that you can be a master of this skill at one point in your life. Because if you don't believe in that, it's not even worth starting because you are not gonna think you can do it. And then you're gonna prevent yourself from learning the skill just by thinking that. Why? Because if you want to, for example, shoot an insane goal of hitting a target at 200 meters with a bow, it's gonna seem impossible at the start, but you have to believe that you can do it if you want to achieve it, because if you think you can, you're gonna think, how can I do it? And you're gonna try until you do it. That's why it's really important, because if you do that, one day you will do it, and you will be way, way better than someone trying to aim at a target at 10 meters, for example. So that's exactly the same for any subject, anything. If you think you can be a pro at video games, you might become one, or at least you will be really, really good at the game way faster than anybody else, because it's all about mentality and not surrendering and thinking that you can do it. So it enables your brain to think that it can get to this and it will find a path. Trust me, it's really important. It's the same for math, med school, anything you want to learn. You need to think that you are someone that can do it. And again, even if you can progress without thinking that you can be a master of the skill, you will progress way faster if you aim at a higher skill level. Otherwise, you are not really aiming at it if you don't think you can do it. I know it was long for a simple thing like this, but it's really important. So now, next step. Okay, now, third step, you need to explore the skill. And what I mean by that is, if it's a physical task, you need to try everything out by yourself. If it's really dangerous to do something by yourself, don't do it. But if you can explore it by yourself, do it by yourself. Of course, you're not gonna try to skydive by yourself the first time, but you can try that and be like, okay, so how does it open? Okay, this is how it opens. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do something like that. And you try to do everything by yourself. And same for the bow. If you want to explore the skill of archery, you are gonna take an arrow, you're gonna put it on a string, and then you're gonna see where it goes on the string by yourself. Then you're gonna put the arrow where you think it should go. Then you're gonna try the position you think is better. And you're gonna try one position, two positions, three positions, and you're gonna try putting the arrow at different angles, different placements, and you're gonna try to, you get it, you know, like different forces and everything. And then go at different distances, try every factor and try them out by yourself until you get an understanding of the skill. Once you have that, you have a pretty good understanding and you discovered by yourself how it goes. And now you can listen to lessons or videos online and stuff like that, because you're going to be able to understand them well and to know actually what you're trying to do. Okay. And it's also really good, I think, to have your own style, your own take at it at first, so that you can maybe improve it or maybe see why it's not the best one. But yeah, trust me, explore by yourself before. I also wanted to give you an example for video games. I know it's not for everybody, but it's like a sport, okay? So I'm just gonna explain. For example, I played Rocket League, which is a game where you shoot a ball with a car that can fly. And this is really, really skillful, like maybe football, soccer. Okay, I didn't watch any videos of the game before playing 100 hours and exploring everything by myself. And it's only after 2,000 hours that I felt I needed to watch some videos to maybe perform some skills better or to find new skills that I didn't know about. But trust me, I became really, really good at the game just by practicing, and just playing by myself, exploring and trying things without being scared of the score at the end of the game. But that's gonna be for later. I'm gonna explain to you in step 5. Now we're still at step 3, exploring. Okay, I'm sorry I didn't have battery left, but to finish off with the exploring part, if it's not something physical that you're trying to learn, you should focus on learning about the subject without trying to remember everything, which means watching videos and reading books again and again and again until you get a wide understanding of the subject. Once you have that, you can go to step 4. Step 4 is going to be decompose in small sub-skills. Okay, and now I really want you to understand what I mean by decompose a skill in small sub-skills. So I'm going to use the example of archery because I think it's visual and I know it. So for the overall skill of archery, what you want to do is decompose in small skills like how do I position my fingers on the rope? How do I pull the rope? How do I position my arms, my chest, my feet? Everything is important. Try out everything and try to get a mastery of every little detail until you can get the overall thing. But I'm going to explain to you how you get to that point of being really good at it with step 5. And step 5 is the most important step of all of them. And my explanation is going to be really important for you to understand because I don't see a lot of people do like this. Step 5, repetition is key. Don't skip the video here because I know it's pretty common knowledge, but it is not. I'm going to explain to you why people are still learning everything pretty slow. Repetition is the most important thing for you to learn something, because the more you do it, the more you're going to get it, the more you're going to try different things, and your brain is going to remember what worked, what didn't work. That's why you're going to be better. And sometimes you're not going to notice. It's only your body that is going to notice like small details. Like, for example, if I try to learn the butterfly knife, here, I might do that once, it's going to fall, or maybe it's going to hit my finger, but my brain is going to notice, oh, it hit my finger. So when I start again, it's going to try something slightly different without me really having to focus on this. And at one point, your brain is going to have all the steps right, and you're not going to even notice. But you have to do repetition and focused repetition. And when you have problems, you have to go to step 6. But now let me explain to you something important about repetition and how to learn anything fast, because this is the subject of the video. I see so many people learning everything so slow. I mean it, really slow. They can go way faster and they don't understand these principles. I am a gamer and I'm a tryharder, which means I'm always trying to optimize everything and to learn the game as quickly as possible and to get good fast because I want to be the best. And I'm doing that for everything I do when I have the motivation and the will. It's not about having 10,000 hours of a skill. It's about getting as much repetition as possible in a small period of time to learn it fast. And you have to be focused as well. How do you do that? To maximize the amount of repetitions in a certain amount of time. I don't know which accent I'm doing because I'm mixing them all with the German accent a little bit. Imagine one guy that has 3 arrows and there is another guy that has 10 arrows. Which one is going to shoot the most and progress the most in 1 hour. The one with 10 arrows is gonna shoot way more than the one with 3 arrows. But you're gonna say, why? Because it's just like you take back the arrow and you shoot them again. But you have to walk there. You have to walk back, take the arrows out, and then go back, reset yourself, and shoot again. So the guy with 10 arrows is gonna shoot maybe 10 arrows in 100 seconds, 1 per 10 seconds, if it's really slow, but that's for the example. And the other guy is gonna shoot 3 arrows in 30 seconds, okay? So it's equal for that, but then they're gonna walk like maybe 1 minute to reset themselves, and the one with 10 arrows is maybe gonna take 10 seconds more than the other one with 3 arrows to take the arrows out of the target. So it means the guy with 3 arrows is gonna take 1 minute 30 to shoot 3 arrows. And the other guy is gonna take 2 minutes 50 to shoot 10 arrows, which is almost 3.6 arrows per minute for the one with 10 arrows, and 2 arrows per minute, I guess. Yeah, 2 arrows per minute for the one with 3 arrows. That's almost double the amount of arrow shot in 1 hour or in 1 minute for the guy with 10 arrows. So small differences like this are really, really important, because the one with 10 arrows doesn't have to set himself every time he shoots an arrow. He has to do that every 10 arrows and the other one every 3 arrows. So that time is huge. You need to increase efficiency of repetition, which means, for example, in a video games, but it's the same for any sports or anything, you need to decrease the amount of time you're wasting between repetitions, which is setting yourself for the skill. If it's math, you need to decrease the amount of time between exercises of the same kind, which means you need to do a lot of the same exercises of the same kind, one after the other, without switching your focus to another task. Because if you switch the focus to another task, your brain is going to have to reset his focus to something else, and it's going to take a little bit of time to get into it. And you still didn't understand this subject, so you need to stay on one subject at a time, one skill at a time, one sub-skill at a time. You do it for a long period of time until you get it. Okay, and now I'm still gonna speak about repetitions because it's the most important thing you have to understand from this video, and it's really, really important. So I'm gonna explain to you how you can think even further into that. I'm gonna go back to my archery example with the guy that shoots 10 arrows. This guy with 10 arrows at a time is gonna learn the skill twice as fast as the other one. And he might even learn more than twice as fast, because shooting more in a small amount of time is gonna stick more in his brain. He's gonna be able to correct himself better, and it's gonna be exponential. So it's maybe twice as fast, maybe twice and a half, maybe 3 times. It depends how long you do that, but trust me, it's way better to do 10 at a time. Okay guys, I keep having problems with my camera, but I'm gonna end this video really soon. I just want to explain to you a last example for repetitions increasing. So trust me, you need to understand that as well. And then I'm gonna be over with that almost. The last thing you need to understand, I'm gonna use an analogy of video games again. When you're training at something, don't try to win. You're trying to improve. For example, in a shooter game, I see a lot of people doing this mistake of trying to win the game even when they are really bad. And I'm gonna explain to you why it's not always good, and it's often not good. Because the one that is trying to win is gonna hide and never improve his skills of shooting, getting into fights, doing movements and everything. And the one that is trying to get into fights as much as possible, in games, of course, is gonna increase way faster than the one avoiding it and trying to get the win, okay? The one at first that is trying to fight again and again is gonna die more often, because of course he's getting into fights that he can lose, but he's gonna increase his aim, his mentality, his movements, everything about that skill that you need to win the game at a high level. And trust me, soon the guy that is going into fights again and again is gonna beat the out of the other one that is hiding, okay? And they can have 10,000 hours. One is gonna be pro, and the other one is gonna be a noob still. Maybe a noob that can get some kills, but a noob, all right? Meaning still a beginner. basically. Okay, so don't aim for the win, aim to increase your skill, get as much as possible in a situation where you can repeat your skill and improve. And then when you're good, you're trying to win. Sometimes, for example, if you're Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, at the World Cup, you're going to try to win the World Cup, okay? And yeah, of course, you're trying to do that. So sometimes you can aim for the win, but not all the time and not when you're training, okay? When you're training, you don't care and don't feel the failure. Trust me, because not losing doesn't mean you're bad. It means you're improving. I don't care of failing because it's not failing for me. It's just playing the game, learning the skill until I get it. There is no shame of being bad at something at first and even never. It's never a shame to be bad at something. But if you want to improve, you have to practice. You have to fail, but it's not a failure, okay? I want you to understand that. So repeat. Get into situations. Don't fear losing. You get it? Okay. And now step 6, really quickly. Analyze what's wrong with your skill. Analyze where you can improve and focus on that. For example, you're bad at something, you notice it, and then you improve on that. And then step 7, you go back to step 4, 5, and 6. All right? And you do that loop again and again, which means once you analyze step 6, what's wrong with your skill, you go and focus on it with step 4, which means you decompose this skill and then you find how you can improve this little skill. Then you repeat this training again and again and again and again. And then you go back to analyzing when you're stuck and you improve something else. And you go back to step 4, decompose, then step 5, repeat, then step 6, analyze what's wrong, and do that again and again. And once you have done all of that, you are pretty good at the game or the skill you're trying to learn, even if it's mathematics and everything, okay? And that's how you learn something really fast. But let's finish off with step 8, repeat again and again. Never stop repeating if you want to get as good and keep your level on the skill. And then step 9, really fast, is improvise, invent, create, discover. For example, if it's mathematics, you can now discover because you're master, so you can discover something that nobody ever discovered before. If it's piano, you can improvise or invent new stuff. And if it's like learning trick shots with a knife, you can invent new trick shots. And that's when you're a master of the skill, you can do that, or when you're pretty good at it. And now, step 10, subscribe and watch my other videos. I hope you liked it. Thank you.